Because when we are looking at this case, you find that I thought it was something. I know it's not something in isolation because because I grew up in the country. But when you now find like you have on one end where lecturers are demanding, sexual favors from female students and demanding monetary favors from male students, but it's even more saddening to find that parents are willing to go out of their way, to now sort these same professors so that their kids will graduate with a certain GPA. The question now is who? I don't think we should be blaming anyone then, because we are all enablers.
It's a system.
We are all enablers in the system. Yeah. So it's easy to come in and say but it's a lot like saying that, but that person's the crime the person committed is more than my crime. We all committed, like you're all committing crime there.
It's true.
I know we can say it's easier said than done, we that are outside here, but being outside here also, it has its own challenges.
Of course.
It has its own challenges. It's not...
I believe...
it's not straightforward.
Instead of blaming the government, right? Yeah. If everybody stands up to do the right thing, the system will be a lot... The system works here because there are checks and balances. Even back home, probably that lecturer, if this issue of the professor did not go on social media, probably the school wouldn't be dealing with it the way they're dealing with it now. They would have probably sweep it under the carpet and just do if it's a powerful person, a powerful professor. They say, okay, like tomorrow, if I know that you're doing the same thing that I'm doing, what do you think? If there's any allegation against you, all we need to do is let's sweep it under the carpet. That's what's most important. But if there are checks and balances where at the end of the academic year, like it is here, they give you your question paper, right? At the back of the question paper, you have a page where you do an evaluation. You have to evaluate and rate. You evaluate the professor based on his own attendance in class, how well he can pass the information across, how fair he is in terms of dealing with the students. How open is this professor in terms of if the students have questions, is he approachable? Those are areas that should be revisited back home. So students at the end of every examination fill this anonymously, right? So the school...
but that can only work, that only works when the school actually uses those
questions. That's what I was going to say now.
It works when the school actually uses those questionnaires. If the students finish doing all those, and maybe that professor is rated poorly, and you come back next year and that professor is there, so what is, it only happens here because the professors know that once you get like very poor rating from the students and it does not improve with time,
you're on your way out.
You're on your way out. So that can only work in a system where you have rules, and rules are you have someone implementing those rules. I don't think it work in Nigeria where someone has already been caught, disciplined, and still left in the same position. Like, what do you expect him to do?
Oh yeah, that's true though. That's true, but you got to start from somewhere. Well, it's better at least there's a measure in place rather than the way it is right now. Because for it to get to the point where this lecturer was comfortable enough to say, okay, you know what, if you want an A, sleep with me 5 times. If you want a B, sleep with me 3 times. Like, it just tells you that right now the whole system has broken.
I feel embarrassed.
The system, the system.
It's embarrassing. Like,
it is embarrassing. I feel embarrassed. But again, think about the fact that you have. Thank God that you have still very brilliant students. But think about the fact that the schools in this part of the world, right, have access to they see all this on social media. So instead of the school allowing one bad egg of a professor to drag the school into the mud, why not kick that professor out and use him to set example to others?
No, the others.
Yet all these people send their kids outside the country. That professor that's collecting money from other students is probably doing it to send his or own child outside the country.
That's the sad truth. So that the same child will not have to go through the same thing that he's doing.
So you are preventing your child from going through that route, but you stealing from all the other students to put your own child outside the country.
No, but if you're just stealing, then you say it's money. This time you're stealing and you're also abusing others.
Yeah, abusing the privilege.
The female students. So that is, I
think it's something that the system should be overhauled completely. How many people can afford? How about the ones that can no longer afford, that cannot afford to send their kids outside? So their own kids are the ones that will not have to keep submitting to these lousy lecturers. The ones that can afford it, fine, send your kid outside the country. But how about the ones that cannot afford it? People before used to send their kids outside the country because of academic. They believe the schools outside are better. But this is another reason why someone would want to send their kid outside. If I send my child to school and the child that I don't trust the system of education, right? Then I know that my daughter is also vulnerable to these egos that can't keep their pants zipped up. Why bother? Why bother? So it's really it's something that really hurts. Especially when you think about the fact that most of these kids that are in these schools are the ones that their parents cannot afford to send them outside the country.
Being a girl, and having gone through that system, I am speechless, because when you have, when you are in situations like that, how do you go back to your parents, right? During our own time, like I said, we were lucky. I don't think it was this rampant. It was mostly pay, buy, and handouts.
Buy handouts, right.
Our time was mostly...
And we were crying.
It was mostly buy handouts. If you don't buy the lecturer's handout, you're not good. You're not passing, regardless of how good you are. Actually, he will tell you that whatever questions or how to get ready for the exams is on so and so page in the handout, or buy their textbook. Yeah. So that's textbook.
How many of them wrote textbooks? It's handouts. How many of them could write textbooks? So it's handouts.
So then we felt it was hard, but to hear this is, you can tell I'm very shocked. It's shocking. It's dumbfounding. It's almost I'm speechless. I'm saying, come on, what do you want? This like we pointed out now. Kids that come from very poor family, they might be the only hope that their parents have to get through the system, get a good job, and helps to start taking care of their younger ones. And they are faced with this, with this preposition that doesn't make sense.
No, think about it. No, some of these people, maybe like the parents have to farm, right?
That's what I'm saying.
The dad and mom are in the hot sun, sweating it out to send their kid to school. Then one lecturer turns that child into, I don't know. Sometimes you wonder how these guys think. It's heartbreaking to think that a professor who's supposed to be very learned and that is held in high esteem in society should be held in high esteem in society can condescend that low to take advantage of little kids.
At this stage, if I'm beginning to be suspect of anybody that tells me, and that's the thing, they bring shame to every other ones that are like,
of course, even the hardworking
because
ones.
Once you hear he's a professor, the first thing that comes to your mind is, are you one of them?
Exactly.
Excuse me, I hope you're not one of them, but the person, for all you know, might not be one of them.
True.
I think it's sad. I think this university.
They should be calling these guys out.
University.
If you're a lecturer and you know a colleague that's engaging in this kind of activities, call them out.
I don't think it's the professor, other professors calling out. I think it's the university or the authority stepping up and either getting rid of them or withdrawing. I don't know, is it their pay, their salary?
Overhaul the system. Give the students opportunity to report these issues, and if the students report it, act on it.
And act on it, yeah.
Act on it. It's one thing for the student to summon courage to report it, but it's even worse when the students are able to summon the courage to report a lecturer and they find that nothing is done about it.
Well, thank God for social media. I would say kudos to the girl that
brought the issue
that exposed it, and any other girl that is out there, fight with what you have. If you have a means to record it, share it. The more people know like they are vulnerable, put them in the same vulnerable position. Well, the more they know they are vulnerable, record, share. They say social media is a bitch. It get at you. It will ruin that reputation. And probably when a lot of professors are now being called to order, the school will have no other. They will have no other,
of course, than
option than to do something about it.
Yeah. So that's what I think. So thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for your time. We hope that the same way we're passionate about this issue, we know a lot of other people are doing this, have the same feelings. Especially considering the fact that every one of us is probably going to be a parent tomorrow if you are not already. Think about it. Your child going to school should be there to learn in a free and fair environment, and not to be taken advantage of by one idiot who's supposed to be a role model to others in society.
I also say, for us, especially the ladies, we don't have to put up with any bullshit that comes our way. Fight back with what you have. If you have the means to record it, share it. I will encourage each and every one of you, if you've had a situation like that, if you've had someone that's been in a situation like that, drop us a line. Make in the comment section, tell us what you think. What do you think our society should be doing to tackle this problem that is very, very embarrassing. I
think parents should also bring their kids close where they can be comfortable enough to confide in you when things like this happen. I had when I was in school, there was this guy, and I think he had an issue with one of the lecturers. Mm-hmm. You know what the dad did?
No.
The dad brought a truckload of, I think the man has a lot of kids, brought them into the school to warn the lecturer, and that was the last time the lecturer ever tried it. So sometimes it takes that kind of language, for these lecturers to stop this behavior. If you report to the school and the school is not doing anything about it, then take it to talk to your parents. If your parents can't do anything about it,
involve the community.
It's like one way or the other. I'm really glad that social media is there.
Yeah.
So even if you can't do anything, leave it there. There are people that are activists that will probably come to your aid.
Yeah, there are a lot of activists out there. Just even if you're too scared, right? Call someone and say, "Look at the situation that I am in."
Yeah, leave it anonymous. If you don't want to put your name, leave it anonymous.
What do you think I should do?